In the realm of true crime, there are stories that shock and terrify, revealing the depths of human depravity. One such tale is that of Robert Hansen. Robert Hansen, the notorious butcher-baker serial killer? Robert Hansen, infamously known as the Butcher Baker, was an American serial killer who left a chilling mark on the history of criminality. Born on February 15, 1939 in Estherville, Iowa, Hansen's name became synonymous with terror as he embarked on a spree of heinous acts that shocked the nation. His modus operandi and the gruesome details of his crimes still send shivers down the spines of those familiar with his dark legacy. Operating in Anchorage, Alaska, during the 1970s and early 1980s, Hansen preyed upon young women, often targeting sex workers or those he perceived as vulnerable. With a sinister blend of charm and deceit, he would lure his victims with promises of money or the allure of modeling opportunities, exploiting their trust to fulfill his sadistic desires. FBI entered in game. After all that, the FBI started to fetch his data. This responsibility was given to Agent Van Clausen. The information from the Officer Baker increased his suspicions about Hansen, but Baker's information was not enough, so Clausen started to fetch criminal records, and he didn't have access to them all in Anchorage. Van went into Juneau to collect Robert Hansen's criminal records from Superior and Supreme Court archives. To succeed this mission, Van researched about every town in the city that Hansen had ever lived in. The dark secrets uncovered. Trooper Wayne Van Clausen's suspicions about Robert Hansen were sparked by information received from Officer Baker. In a race against time, Van Clausen tirelessly sought more details, but the limited computerized criminal records in Anchorage posed a challenge. Determined to gather evidence, he journeyed to Juneau, where he meticulously collected Hansen's past from the archives of the Superior and Supreme Courts. Van Clausen's investigation revealed a disturbing pattern in Hansen's life, dating back to 1961. As he explored each town where Hansen had resided, a web of ominous reports emerged, hinting at the dark secrets hidden behind Hansen's facade of normalcy. The trooper pieced together a narrative that exposed Hansen's malevolence, shedding light on the true extent of his crimes. The FBI's sinister portrait. The Federal Bureau of Investigation played a pivotal role in unraveling the enigma of Robert Hansen. Their criminal profile depicted a predator who cunningly blended into the community, evaded suspicion while harboring sadistic desires. The profile indicated that Hansen, most likely an independent business owner, had a profound love for the outdoors, using remote wilderness areas as his hunting grounds. Unable to connect with women, he was plagued by low self-esteem and a sense of alienation. Strikingly, the profile suggested a speech defect, such as a stutter or a lisp, which bore an eerie resemblance to Hansen himself. Upon Van Clausen's return, troopers meticulously examined Hansen's files, unearthing a deeply unsettling past. The records revealed Hansen's involvement in a series of crimes, including arson, which validated the FBI's prediction of a history of setting fires. Furthermore, court-ordered psychiatric reports from Hansen's time in a reformatory exposed his social maladjustment and deviant tendencies, providing chilling confirmation of the accuracy of the criminal profile. The fragile mask of confidence. Hansen's stutters served as a barrier, eroding his self-confidence and contributing to his transformation into a merciless tormentor. The pain of rejection and humiliation inflicted during his formative years scarred him deeply, fueling his sinister desires. Yet, Hansen managed to navigate society's expectations, concealing his dark inclinations while working at a bakery. Secretly indulging in kleptomania, he derived a twisted sense of power from exerting control over others, particularly during his hunting escapades. The notoriety and accolades he garnered for his hunting skills only fed his twisted ego. A terrifying descent into darkness. In 1967, Hansen relocated to Alaska in search of a fresh start, but he would soon unleash a wave of terror upon the unsuspecting residents. Within a span of 3 years, he was arrested for attempting to rape a young receptionist at gunpoint. The subsequent indictments for similar assaults painted a haunting picture of a man consumed by his sadistic fantasies. It involved abductions, thefts, and escalating acts of violence, fueled by his unstable psyche and deviant sexual desires. The courts, blinded by Hansen's veneer of respectability, failed to recognize the monster in their midst. Lenient sentences and psychiatric treatment only served to perpetuate his reign of terror. One victim, merely 17 years old at the time, suffered the horrors of abduction, rape, and threats of death. Hansen's words of dismissal, belittling her as just a kid, echoed the systemic injustice that allowed him to continue his reign of terror for years. The pursuit of truth. Despite the mounting evidence against Hansen, the troopers struggled to establish an airtight case. The vastness and remoteness of the Alaskan wilderness posed significant challenges in locating all the victims and uncovering irrefutable proof. However, the surviving victim, Cindy Paulson, emerged as a beacon of hope. Her courageous testimony and identification of one of Hansen's guns breathed life into the investigation, offering a tangible link to the sadistic predator. While the capture and conviction of Robert Hansen brought a measure of closure to the communities he terrorized, the scars inflicted upon his victims remain. The physical and psychological trauma they endured will forever serve as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Hansen's actions cast a long shadow, a reminder that evil can hide behind a facade of normalcy, preying upon the vulnerable with impunity. As investigators closed in on Hansen, their search for more victims led them to the desolate Cynic River area, where the bodies of 3 dancers had been discovered. The troopers, driven by a relentless determination to find answers, combed through the vast wilderness, hoping to uncover the resting places of the missing women. The very land that had once been a source of solace and tranquility had been transformed into a graveyard of lost souls. However, despite their best efforts, the search proved challenging. The vastness of the Alaskan wilderness and its rugged terrain made it difficult to cover every inch of ground thoroughly. The troopers faced a race against time, knowing that every passing moment increased the likelihood of crucial evidence being lost forever. The weight of circumstantial evidence. The FBI profile and the accumulated police records painted a damning picture of Robert Hansen, yet securing a conviction required concrete evidence that could stand up in a court of law. The troopers faced the daunting task of bridging the gap between suspicion and indisputable proof. Hansen's prior run-ins with the law, including his convictions for arson and assaults, provided a glimpse into his dark inclinations. However, these records were deemed stale, lacking the immediacy required to hold significant weight in a legal setting. The investigators knew they needed something more substantial, something that could definitely link Hansen to the gruesome crimes. In their pursuit of justice, the investigators turned to Cindy Paulson, the sole surviving victim of Hansen's recent wave of violence. Paulson's testimony held the potential to provide critical insights into the sadistic workings of Hansen's mind. Her courage and resilience were remarkable as she recounted the horrifying details of her ordeal. Paulson's harrowing account provided a glimmer of hope. Her identification of one of Hansen's guns added a crucial piece to the puzzle, bolstering the trooper's case against the serial killer. Her willingness to relive the trauma, to confront her tormentor in a court of law, showcased the strength and determination of those who refuse to let fear and suffering define their lives. Buoyed by Paulson's testimony, the investigators sought to establish a pattern of behavior that would strengthen their case. They tracked down another victim from years earlier, hoping to find similarities in their experiences. This victim, although no longer living in the area, proved instrumental in corroborating Paulson's account. The legacy of darkness. The capture and subsequent conviction of Robert Hansen brought a sense of justice to the communities he had terrorized for so long. Yet, the impact of his crimes extended far beyond the courtroom. The survivors carried the scars, both visible and hidden, as constant reminders of the horrors they endured. The communities, forever changed by the revelation of a monster lurking in their midst, grappled with the aftermath, seeking solace and healing. In the end, the legacy of Robert Hansen serves as a chilling reminder that evil can manifest itself in unexpected ways. Behind the facade of an unremarkable businessman lay a sadistic predator, preying upon the vulnerable and leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. So fellas, this is the story of Robert Hansen. The serial killer who tortured his victims in the wilderness is a chilling reminder of the evil that can lurk within seemingly ordinary individuals. If you found this story intriguing, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel for more captivating content. Meanwhile, thanks for watching.